Hi, my name is Leah Reitmeyer. Today we're going to be talking about glutamine and whether it's helpful for athletes or not. So today we're going to be talking about glutamine. Like I said, we're going to be kind of examining what it is chemically, how exactly it works, why do we need it in our bodies, what are some of the health claims that the population claims about glutamine. Are we able to get it naturally, or do we have to get it through supplementation? Is there data to support or deny the health claim? And kind of what my conclusions are that I came up with doing the research. So what exactly is glutamine? Well, glutamine is one of the 20 amino acids. It is a non-essential amino acid, meaning that it's readily available in the body, and your body is able to synthesize it in the tissues, such as your muscles, the liver, the adipose tissues, and it's also considered a conditional amino acid, which means that it is used a lot when you're sick or when the body is under extreme stress. So glutamine comes in a couple of different forms. Showing here in the picture, it is the powder form. And the powder form, you mix it with cold or lukewarm water. You can't mix it with hot water because the hot water will denature the amino acid. You can also get it in the capsules, the tablets, the liquid. And this picture also here up on our right shows the chemical structure of what glutamine looks like at a chemical level. How exactly does it work? Well, glutamine is made in the muscle, and then it's distributed by the blood to the other tissues. Showing in this picture, it can be distributed to the muscle, the brain, the kidney, the gut, the liver, and then it kind of goes back into a circle again. And glutamine is considered to be a nitrogen transporter. So this is one of the reasons why glutamine is so beneficial with patients who are sick or patients who have injured themselves, because the nitrogen is what helps heal the wounds, it helps heal the body. So glutamine is one of the amino acids that carries the most nitrogen throughout the body, which is why it is such an important amino acid. Like I said, the wounds help nitrogen to repair themselves. So being that glutamine is the biggest nitrogen transporter, we need a lot of glutamine. And it is used when the body is under stress, when the glutamine in our body is being used and we're using more than we can make. That's when the glutamine supplementation is beneficial. So what is it used for? Well, it's used for patients who are critically ill, such as patients who have chemo, the patients who have cancer and they're going under chemotherapy in the hospital. A lot of times they'll be giving this supplement because the supplement of glutamine helps to repair their muscles and it helps repair the wounds that the chemo is causing to their body. It also helps patients who have serious wounds or injuries. These serious wounds can range from burns to the injuries being a torn ligament, broken muscle, or broken bones. And the nitrogen in the glutamine, it helps these patients tremendously. It helps to heal the wounds. And then also what my biggest study on was what it was used for in athletes. And it's used for athletes who have gone through extremely harsh workouts. So these are going to be your ultra marathon runners, your triathletes. It's not necessarily just going to be your average athlete that is running a mile or doing a 1-hour practice. It's going to be those really, really tough athletes who are doing extreme workouts. Some bodybuilders can be considered extreme workouts, but it's also going to be your Olympic athletes, your elite athletes that are putting a lot of stress on their body. Some of the health claims that you can find at your local health store that sells the glutamine supplement. It's going to help grow and maintain your muscle mass, faster restoration of muscle glycogen stores after strenuous exercise, skeletal muscle tissue repair, maintenance of normal neurological function, improvement of working memory, and stimulating immunological responses. So some of these health claims have some truth behind what they're saying, but how they're worded definitely makes it so the health claim is not necessarily true. So it's not going to grow your muscle mass. It's not going to make your muscles bigger, but it is going to help repair your muscles when you have muscle tissue damage. but that's going to be for those elite athletes, those people who are in the hospital, those people who are going through extreme stress on their body. It is also going to help your immune function. It's not going to stimulate your immune responses, but it will help to increase your immunity in your body, because the nitrogen is helping heal the wounds, which is helping your immune system be higher so that you are not as susceptible to infection. So there is some truth behind the health claims, but how it is worded, like I said, is not necessarily correct. So let's say you have a patient that, or even you yourself, thinks that they will benefit from glutamine. You can use the supplementation in the different forms, like I said, the powder, the capsules, the tablets, or even the liquid form. But let's say you have a patient who doesn't want to be supplemented. They don't want to take the supplementation of glutamine, but they could really benefit from it. Well, there's many different options. There are the option of animal tissues, such as the meat, chicken, your poultry, and your fish, because these are really high quality proteins, and glutamine is an amino acid. Amino acids make up proteins. There's going to be a lot of glutamine in the animal tissues. And let's say you have a patient that is vegetarian. Well, there's dairy options. There's legumes. There's the eggs. Dairy is going to be a huge source of glutamine, especially cheese. Cheese has a lot of glutamine in it, so make sure you tell your patients to eat a lot of cheese, cottage cheese especially. Then there's legumes such as lentils and beans. Soybeans actually have the most glutamine in them out of the legumes, so soybeans are a good option. And lots of vegetarians already intake soybeans because they are a good source of protein. And then we have our eggs. But let's say you have a patient that is watching their cholesterol, or they are watching their fat intake. Just eating the egg whites, you're still going to get a lot of glutamine into your diet. Now for my data. So I did a lot of research on athletes and how the glutamine helps athletes, but a lot of information I found, it was more focused on patients that were in hospitals, but I did find some on hospital. So I have some here for hospitals and just regular athletes. So the first study that I found, it was overtrained versus well-trained versus sedentary individuals and their resting plasma concentration of glutamine. So the overtrained athletes, they had the lowest amount of plasma concentration of glutamine in their body, because they were using so much of the glutamine and their body wasn't able to produce as much as they were using. Whereas the well-trained or the sedentary individuals, it kind of went in that order from least to greatest amount of plasma glutamine in their body. So the study, it gave supplementation to all three of the different groups. The overtrained athletes responded the best to the supplementation. They were able to have better results and have more glutamine in their body versus the well-trained and the sedentary, because the overtrained athletes had the least amount in their body to begin with. So supplementing it helped them in the long run, because they didn't have enough glutamine and they were supplemented, whereas the well-trained and the sedentary, they already had enough. And it's like when you have extra vitamins in your body. If you don't need the extra vitamin, you just kind of get rid of it. So it was the same concept, that they already had enough glutamine in their body, so they didn't need to be intaking any more. Then the patients in the second study that had chemo, they were split in half. Half was given glutamine, half was given a placebo. And those patients that were given the glutamine, they had way better results than the patients who were given their placebo. So the people who got the glutamine, their side effects from the chemo, their recovery time from the chemo was way, way better than those receiving the placebo, showing that the glutamine definitely helps those patients who are very, very sick and very, very ill. And the last study was just average athletes. They were males. One group was given carbs with essential amino acids after their workout, and one was given carbs with no essential amino acids. And in this study, because they were just average athletes and they weren't really doing anything too strenuous to their bodies, the males who were receiving the essential amino acids really had no different response than the ones with no essential amino acids, showing here that just for the average athlete, there's not going to be really any benefit to having the extra glutamine into their system. So for my conclusion, I came up with, doing a lot of the research and a lot of the stuff that I read, that it's really only helpful for those patients or those athletes that are in extreme cases. It's really only meant for those people who are in the hospital, who have wounds, who have cancer, and those athletes who are putting a lot of stress on their bodies. So just kind of a concluding statement, for the average athletic population, they're spending too much money on supplementation, and when you can really get a lot of what you need in the healthy foods, because you don't really need it unless you're that extreme athlete. And even if you're that extreme athlete, you are still able to get it into your body. Just some last final words for you. If you eat a variety and eat in moderation, the average person will be able to get enough of what they need. And here are my references if you have any questions. Other than that, thank you very much.